what a day. Crazy results, teams, drawing. And Björn, if you have to put it into words, a few sentences, how did you see this day with all these surprising results?
It's a crazy day. So if you want to bet always on a Swiss draw. If you want to see goals, go for Iceland. If you want to see action until the end, you just have to see Hungary, Sweden, the last action. And of course, congratulations for Croatia for 2 points.
Ball across to Dylan Nahi, double in flight. Oh, what a start.
Ooh, into the net.
She does it again. Yes.
Van Dijksterberg are the champions of Europe. To come up with something here. She has a game. This is a massive keeper. What a comeback.
It is time to talk handball again, and today's focus is on main round group number 2. And after today, only one game remains. And today, myself is Martin Vilstrup. I'm joined by Björn Pazen and Víctor Tomàs. And let's start by saying, how are you, Víctor? How is it going?
All good, my friend. All good, my friend. Today it looks good to be a host for you. You know, I think you are made for this. You know, our German friend Bengt. I like the guy, but I have to say you can do it.
Thank you, my friend. I'm trying to take over Bing's job. We're not allowed to tell me here, but he has some competition. And another German journalist also joined us, Björn. Thank you for taking your time. And as I said, also in our WhatsApp group, it's good to finally have a true expert in this podcast.
Okay.
How are you? How are you?
I can tell you everything from Hanning. I was in 6 different media calls today. I was with all the teams from Hanning, and of course I saw a little bit from Malmö. And great to be part of your show.
And we're happy to have you here. But once I also saw the games today, I was like, when I saw the first result, I was surprised. Then I only had higher expectations for the second one. And it kept developing throughout all the results because the main round group number 2 is insane crazy because after today, there's still one game left. 4 teams can qualify for the semifinals. A quick sum up for this first or this round today, Björn. How, if you need to summarize it in one word with the games?
Crazy. The word is crazy.
Yeah.
So especially when you see draws. We don't have draws here in Hanning, but in Malmö they are absolute expert for draws.
I agree, and especially also because Iceland coming out from a game against Sweden where they won with 8 goals, and then all our expectations was super high against Switzerland today that had the honor to play for, and also an easier qualification in terms of the upcoming World Cup there is today. The way that I saw it today, Björn, is a high-paced game. I think a lot of goals in the beginning. How did you see the start from both teams?
The funny thing is, I'm very honest always. I'm of course part of the prediction game of the EHF here, and I said 2 of my 3 bonus balls against Switzerland. Sorry, Andy Schmid, it was a mistake to do so. I will never put my bonus ball against Switzerland because the development of this team in this tournament is great. And what you also saw in the beginning, it was just run and gun, as you say in basketball, I think. You thought that Iceland has the clear advantage of the confidence from the last match, but nothing like this happened. And in the end, they could be lucky with the draw. In the end, they could have even won the match. But in the starting period, this was really just. It could be expected that we have 76 goals in the end.
Do you guys feel watching all the results and how competitive is both groups? Do you guys feel this is the best European championship for the last many years? Because I have this feeling, watching the games at home, I have the feeling that physically the teams are super prepared. The teams are being so physical. The handball that we are watching is really fast, and we are seeing a competitiveness that I don't remember for the last many years to be enjoying that much the championship.
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, I think the beauty about the Euros is that you cannot really predict it, even though that I went into today's game believing, Iceland is going to win this one. I truly do. And I mean, it lived up to my expectations. And also a thing that I started to think about is that maybe some of, can you say, the nations where the depth within the squad is not that big, can we start to see some signs of, that they're getting tired? Because Switzerland has started a lot of games very strong, leading the games. And today a draw against Ireland is a big result.
It is.
So
It
I
is.
believe the Euros, from my point of view, I don't know, Björn, if you have anything extra to say, but it's hard to predict.
Every match is hard to predict. Every team can beat the other team, and I absolutely agree with Victor, because from the competitiveness, we have 12 teams here, and you see what can happen in Malmö. In Herning, we know one semi-final participant, but still all other teams can go on the 5-6 placement match, which in the end is a direct ticket to the next World Championship. So there's a battle for the last semi-final spot, but even here everything could happen, and in Malmö it's even heavier when you see how close the teams are. So maybe it is not the highest level of handball, but the highest level of thrill. And I agree, the physical fitness, but you had teams before, after match day 3 and minute 40, they cannot run anymore, and the key players are out of steam, but it doesn't happen here.
And also, to be more specific about the game today with Switzerland and Iceland, I think at an early stage, look at Meister, he missed, I think it was 3 shots in a row on Víctor Tomàs, and after that they had to change, and Andy Schmidt actually went over in Switzerland to 7 versus 6. You, Björn, in general, what is it that makes the 7 versus 6 from Switzerland so strong? The way that Andy Schmidt plays is, obviously, we know he was a player himself that was very good at it, and a very smart player.
Yeah, and you see the Switzerland way, the Swiss way of playing it with the line player, and also putting a lot of pressure from the wings, in my opinion. So they have a lot of variants now in the 7 against 6. In the early days of 7 against 6, it was always the same. Now you have different things. You have it with 2 line players. You have it with 4 backcourt players. You have it the wings getting it's kind of 3-3. And the Swiss they change their system quite often, in my opinion. It did never look the same when they attacked in 7 against 6. So in my opinion, it's exactly that Andy Schmidt was a mastermind as a player, and he took all his experience of being a center back in improving the attack of the Swiss team, and including everything, not only 7 against 6, but also some moves of players on different positions. So also, he's only coaching this team now for 1.5 years, or almost 2 years. So he made a huge step forward with it.
And what also a lot of time happens when you play 7 versus 6 is that the goalkeeper sometimes attempts to shoot at empty goals. And today we saw Björn Gustafsson. He missed 2. Victor, yourself, you probably never missed on empty goals whenever you shot, but can you try to explain how difficult is it actually to stand in the arena to make these kind of shots in situations like this that is so crucial for the team?
Yeah, people on the stands, they are watching comfortably, of course cheering and getting nervous for the result of their team, but they are just sitting on the seat, and watching comfortably. And it's a lot of things that goes through your mind when you have the ball. You see 40 meters away the other goal that it's empty, and it's a lot of things that in a millisecond is going through your mind. It's like, oh, how many sticky is the ball today? Should I shoot? Should I not shoot? I'm watching the goalkeeper if it's going out again or not. And then it's a lot of things you have to process. And then when you decide to shoot, the goal, of course, is 3 meters wide and 2 meters tall. But 40 meters away from you, that is really, really small. So it's much more difficult than what people think.
There's a lot of things also to say around the game with Switzerland, Iceland. I have a huge respect for Switzerland to get a draw here against Iceland, and after that you could see the disappointment in the faces of Iceland. And we actually also got a comment from the coach of Iceland, Snorri Gudjonsson. So let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah, just disappointed. Needed to win, didn't get it today, and didn't play good enough to win. The defense didn't work as usual and not as planned, so we concede 38 goals, and it's too much.
You can obviously hear that Snorri is disappointed. because the interview was made right after the game, before them knowing the results of the day today. But do you think, Björn, there was something that he could have changed throughout the game? Should he have gone back to Hallgrímsson in goal a little bit earlier, or is something 7 versus 6, anything they could have changed?
After the match, you always know more. So maybe, as you said, the change of the goalkeepers could have been done a little bit earlier. But to be honest, if you have two players in your squad, like Gisli Kristjansson and Omar Ingi Magnusson, they can decide the match on their own. So they are clever enough, they are creative enough, they have the experience to say, okay, let them go. But as you saw, Switzerland, the Swiss defense was well adapted to the Icelandic match play. Of course, you see, 76 goals doesn't speak for the defense, but still, in crucial situations, they exactly knew what to do. So you can try everything. So it was like maybe other wingers, or put the wingers a little bit far out to get more speed in the counter-attack. So after the match, you know much more. I think Victor knows even more, because he has been often in the dressing room when exactly this question came up.
Yeah, but this is really tough, because the worst part when you are player is like going to the locker room after the game, having the feel that you could have done something different or something more, and this is the worst possible feeling.
Yeah. And as you said, 38-38 it ended, and it's probably defensively they wanted to change anything if they wanted to. But let's head over to the second game of today, that we had Croatia versus Slovenia, where I believe in the beginning Croatia didn't have any problems with the defense. I think it was after 10 minutes that Croatia was leading 5-1. And actually, speaking of about 5-1, I believe that Croatian 5-1 is the best defense they have, and they do it very good. How do you see the way that they do the 5-1 in defense, Victor?
Actually, I wouldn't say it's a 5-1. It's a 3-2-1, like very typical from the old times in Croatia. This time they don't have Dule to be in the advanced position. But they have big players also to be there, and I think that they are mastering this kind of defense better than any other countries. So I think it's a big when you have two defenses that you can use, the 6-0 and the 3-2-1/5-1. It's a big advantage in this kind of championships, because the teams, they don't have that much time to work tactically, and to be able to master two systems in defense, it's a huge advantage, and I think Croatia is very good on that.
Yeah. And also being able to change for the opponent, so they also have to think about what's going to happen in the next defense, and together with the defense, we often also speak about goalkeepers. And today's player of the match was, you can actually say both Mandic, because they went up there together. But today Mandic started in goal, and I'm like, Björn, who is actually the first choice for Dakur Sigurdsson in goal for Croatia?
So if I only see it from the league side, that Matej Mandic is number 2.5 in Magdeburg, and Kuzmanovic in the first half was first half of the season was number 2 in Gummersbach. So they didn't play that much, but I would say normally, because of the bigger emotions that he brings into the match, for me, Kuzmanovic will always be the number 1, and then comes Mandic. But sometimes when you have I think they have a feeling when they're warming up, because I still say one thing you have to see when Matej Mandic is standing in front of you, how long are his arms? Have you ever seen how long are the arms of Matej Mandic? So they fit in the whole goal, and sometimes when you know that you have an opponent which try to hit the ball always in the upper part, then it could be Mandic. But to be honest, I would say Kuzmanovic is starting as number 1, but today, of course, a deserved player of the match, Mandic.
Yeah, Mandis. That was a nice gesture for both of them. And we even saw at the earlier games or the games before, Dino Slavic came in and had a penalty saves. And also another important player, I think, throughout the tournament today is Srena. He got an injury and he didn't have his best game. I think he was 1 from 7. Martinovic was 3 from 10. Obviously, we hope there's not a big injury for Srena. But Lucin, he came in. And if there's something I think about when I think about Lucin is that he's not afraid to shoot. How important will he be for the Croatian team, Victor, if Srena shows that he has an injury and not able to play?
Serna, I think it's the number one for Dagur in the left back, because also he is a defensive player. He can play number 4, number 5, number 2. So I think it would be a huge loss for Croatia in this moment of the tournament. But then Tin Lucin, he has to step up. I think he's been playing in top teams in Wisla, also now in Nexe. Is he playing now? So I think that Tin Lucin has the experience to step up. He showed at the end of the game that in the important moments he's not shaking. So I think Serna would be a big loss, but fortunately for them, they have a player that can cover this position.
If I'm just allowed to say something on Tin Lucin, I was at both preparation matches of Germany versus Croatia, one in Zagreb, one in Hannover, and when Croatia were about to lose clearly at home against in Zagreb, then Lucin took the responsibility. He scored 3 from 3 in 3 minutes, and every time Ivano Martinovic missed a shot, on the other side Lucin was scoring. So he knows how important he can be for his team, even if Srna is in. So Srna was not injured, so they swapped the positions a little bit. But Tin Lucin was, for me, the best Croatian court player in these 2 matches.
Yeah, I have to agree. I agree also on that. And in the end, it secured also Croatia a very important victory, because I do believe they were a little bit shocked about Iceland when they won against Sweden, and now they had it back in their own hands after the draw. So in the end, they won 29-25. And speaking about surprising results, it's tough to where to start with the last game. Sweden, one of the hosts, playing against Hungary, and once again, I came out here expecting that Sweden would go out and, win against Hungary. And there's many topics to speak about with this game, because, it started with Imre being, I think Palika catched him on a penalty in the beginning. I've never seen anything like that before, Victor. I don't know if you saw the situation on the penalty, and if you ever seen something like that.
Yeah, I was watching the game. I think that it was in the European League a couple of years ago when Da Rosa was also catching a penalty. But I think it's a very, very strange situation to watch, with such a short distance between the shooter and the goalkeeper. And Palika was was amazing. But I think Hungary today, they played without pressure. Of course, they want to be as as far as possible in this championship and be as up as possible. But I think they play without pressure. I think Fazekas today was really good leading the team, and then Rosta with his accuracy, and he made a lot of problems to the Swedish defense. I think the Swedish defense, they never found the tempo on the aggressiveness, on the contacts, and then also they couldn't help their goalkeepers. And I think that Hungary actually deserved more today, in my opinion.
I agree, and when I think about Sweden in general, I usually think about a strong defense. Max Dyer, Bergendahl, Karlsbogar, and these kind of players. But you mentioned also Rosta today, Björn, what makes him so hard to stop? And another thing I came to my mind, has he been the best line player so far of the tournament?
The funny thing is that I should have checked the statistic, but I think we still have Magnus Saugstrup and the Fabregas like this. in the same position. No, it's really impressive how they played, and I absolutely agree with Victor. They deserved more than this point, and I had really thought after a match like this 2 days ago, Sweden comes out and they want to show, they want to go, but I don't know what's going wrong. After this big win against Croatia, they have some problems, and I don't know if they find their way back. They have the last match now with Slovenia, when I'm right, and when you see, you go back some years, they were host of the Euro in 2020 with the final weekend. They missed it. In 2025, they were host and they missed the semi-final. And so I thought that this time also, especially with the constellation you normally had in Malmö, that they are going through until the very end, and we see them here in Herning. But now I'm not sure anymore.
No. And I mean, for me, a player that stepped up today and is super important for Sweden was actually Felix Klar, who made 10 goals in the end. And for me, he's very crucial for the flow and also for the offensive part for Sweden. But with today's result, a draw also between Sweden and Hungary, it means that Slovenia can advance. If they still rely on other results, Sweden can advance, Iceland can advance, and Croatia can advance in this group. So with one game remaining, 4 teams can go through. So I need just quickly 2 names from this group from each of you. Who is making it, Victor, from this group?
Croatia and Iceland.
I have nothing else to say, unfortunately. Croatia and Iceland.
Okay. I was hoping for maybe a little bit another surprise here, because what we have seen so far is a lot of surprises. But another thing I quickly...
But my friend, we are not learning, you know. As Björn said, he said 2 bonus balls against Switzerland. I'm always going with the safe thing, you know. But a lot of things can happen, and in this championship, and especially in Group 2, we have seen some crazy results.
Yeah, and another thing, sadly, we also need to speak about with the Sweden game here, Björn. I want to hear your point of view. Did you see the last thing that happened with between Sita and Vanne?
Yeah.
How did you see that one?
So for me, I checked it 2 times, and I would say it's a clear penalty.
This is the let's say beauty of handball. I think the same situation for, I don't know, if we ask now for 20 different people, maybe we're going to have a lot of different opinions. In my eyes, was also a clear penalty.
Yeah. And yeah, I actually, sadly, and it's a little bit boring, I have to agree with the 2 of you. First, when I saw it, I had my doubts, but when I saw it in the slow motion there, so it could have changed the outcome if they scored on the penalty, Hungary, if the 3 of us are right. But also we saw another experienced player here. Palika missed on the open goal. It's gonna be tough for him to sleep tonight if they're not gonna make it through. Or how do you see it, Björn?
Definitely yes, but even if it would have been a penalty, Palika could have saved it. So in the end, he could be the hero on this side and the hero on the other side. So maybe it was in the end a little bit of justice.
Yeah, you're totally right. And speaking about a lot of games and the games that's coming up, actually tomorrow we have all teams playing at 3:30 p.m. and then we have the other ones, the usual playing time 6 p.m. and then 8:30 p.m. and I actually also wanted to ask the both of you that Denmark is through to the semifinal, but we have a game against Germany and France, and I just wanted to hear the both of you. Björn, you can start here. I think I know what you will say, but at least Germany or France, who's making it?
Usually I'm not that big patriotic, but in this case I have to say Andy Wolf could rest 45 minutes against Denmark. The Wolf is back against France. Maybe the thing is, when you see on the stats only at the European Championship, France-Germany is 7 wins for France, 3 draws and 1 win for Germany, and that dates back to 98. So a long time has gone, and tomorrow is the day.
Victor.
Oh, that's a really tough one. I'm going for France.
Oh, this is interesting, and this just also shows what a close match it will be, and between two very good teams. And you want me to say
I changed so many times on the qualified teams on Group 1, you know. So right now, my feeling it's a little bit for France.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch, and I mean, all the games tomorrow: Slovenia versus Iceland. We have Spain, Portugal, and Germany, France, as we spoke about also. And I believe in all of the games there's something to play for, and if not only the semifinals, also a very important, in standing in the groups for the qualification that's coming up for the World Cups. And also just want to say that Thomas Andersen has also been switched into the Danish squad today. He played one friendly match against the second division in Denmark, scored 14 goals in that game. Let's see if he will play a role or not, but it's interesting to see that late in the tournament after his injury. Do you think, Björn, that he will be able to play and do something with the Danish team?
To be honest, I expect exactly this. So he gets some minutes in the Norway match, then he's in the team, then there's still one day to recover for him, and I would say he can be something like an X factor for the final weekend. Definitely will not play 60 minutes, but the 10 minutes, I always say, check the 12 Schlurhoff minutes from Germany. He was on court 12 minutes, scored 6 goals, and then later you have not seen him anymore. But I just want to say something about Victor's France. Of course, what he did not say is that if France wins and Denmark wins and Spain wins, then Spain is directly qualified for the World Championship. So it's absolutely okay that Victor is going for France.
One thing is for sure, and that we can conclude, is that all the games tomorrow is very interesting, and it's going to be not with only one screen that we need to look. It's with 2 or 3 at least when it's possible to do so. But I want to say, Björn, especially thank you for taking your time, and Victor, also the same to you. It's actually been a pleasure, just the 3 of us. I have to admit that we did very well today, and maybe it is something we should get back together in the future. But thank you for taking your time, and everyone out there listening, just tune in tomorrow and we will be back to speak about the games.
Thank you, Martin. You did a great job. Thank you, Björn. It's always nice to hear what you have to say and your point of view. And yeah, let's see each other tomorrow again when it's time to talk handball.
Ciao.
Ball across the Dylan. He double in flight. Oh, what a start.
Into the net.
She does it again.